welcome and thank you for joining me as I go through this week's movie and TV news. For those of you who watch my channel, you may have noticed that I've been absent for a couple of weeks. I'd like to show you there's nothing to worry about. I've just been working on other projects and I've had trouble scheduling this in. But no matter, I'm here, back for now, ready to give you all the relative news updates. First up, I bring you news that former Bond actor Timothy Dalton is going back to the small screen in an adaptation of DC's Doom Patrol. He'll be playing a character known as the Chief and joining a roster with Brendan Fraser, April Bowlby and Jack Michaels in the 13-episode run. Written by Supernatural's Jeremy Carver. Doom Patrol is a reimagining of one of DC's most beloved superhero outcasts that includes Robot Man, Negative Man, Crazy Jane and Elastigirl. Not to be confused with the Incredibles Elastigirl, that's quite different. They are led by the mad scientist Dr. Calder, aka the Chief, who Timothy Dalton will be playing. I for one are excited to see this. However, I don't know much about the group itself from the comics, but Timothy Dalton's addition to the cast, it's going to spell great stuff moving forward. He's a great actor and, you know, he's next Bond. How mad can you be with that? Next up, Marvel has released the first stills of the upcoming superhero movie, Captain Marvel, which might promise that a trailer is just round the corner. We get a first look at Brie Larson as the titular hero, as well as Jude Law as the Star Force commander. There's also stills of the Star Force military team headed by Jude Law's character, as well as the Skrulls, the enemies of the flick. Now in the stills, Brie Larson looks perfect as the hero, but I was expecting a little more with the costume, to be honest. It looks a little TV. Skrulls look like Star Trek rejects. Now, again, they're just stills, but I was expecting a little more. Maybe release of design aspects of the Skrulls, faces, or maybe the suits. Ben Mendelsohn will be playing quite an important Skrull commander. You know, he's the main enemy of the movie. One of them, I should say, because Ronan the Accuser has been teased in the movie as well. You can see him in a couple of photos. The military group that Captain Marvel is part of looks quite varied and interesting, actually, with a couple of familiar actors and characters. Plus the CG enhanced younger version of Samuel L. Jackson looks near perfect, promising a very special effects heavy movie. And as always, Jude Law fits this role perfectly. I have high hopes for him in the future and I can't wait to see his version of Dumbledore. I'm very excited for Marvel's first female-led superhero movie. However, I hope they do something quite different with it, and it's, you know, as Marvel usually has, they bring us special effects heavy spectacular movies, but let's go in a different direction for once. You know, let's give the audience something different rather than clinging to the same thing. I hope they bring that with Captain Marvel, and from what I see, yeah, it's adding up that way. The final trailer for the new Halloween movie has dropped, and to be honest with you, I'm a huge John Carpenter fan, and when I heard that he was attached to this Halloween film, even as just a composer, I got really excited about what the film could turn out to be. When the first trailer was released, it looked like a near perfect sequel to Carpenter's 78 Halloween movie. But this trailer does something a little different. It follows Michael as he picks up a weapon at a nearby shed and goes inside a house to murder someone. Then continues his spree next door. I think it's a very good trailer because it shows Michael with not an inch of emotion going next door and next door on his spree without stopping and without any inkling of emotion. And he invades the home seemingly at random and easily. It's simply terrifying, and that's exactly what we want from this movie. We finally have a premiere date for Doctor Who. The BBC has announced the premiere date for the new series of Doctor Who will be on October the 7th on a Sunday, and I've been looking forward to this all year round. Some might say that the producers of Doctor Who are just taking a politically correct stance by hiring Jodie Whittaker as the first female Time Lord. However, I don't see it like that. I've watched Whittaker in several productions, including Broadchurch, and I have to say she's a fantastic actor, and she's quite, if you've seen her in interviews and stuff like that, she's quite an oddball, and that's what we want in Doctor Who, and I'm so excited to see her, as the Time. I applaud her and BBC for taking this leap of faith. Next up, I have news that Len Wiseman, director of Underworld and 2012's Total Recall, is due to direct the pilot of DC's Swamp Thing. The drama follows when CDC researcher Abby Arcane returns to her home of Houma, Louisiana, in order to investigate a deadly swamp-borne virus. There she develops an unlikely relationship with a scientist called Alec Holland, only to have him tragically taken from her. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Underworld. I liked the first two, but it went a bit too contrived, I'd say. However, one of the best things about the Underworld series is its blending of CGI and practical effects. So hopefully we'll see the same professional blend here in the Swamp Thing TV series. There's lots of different ways you can go with the look of Swamp Thing. For those of you who are interested in knowing more, you can see the Swamp Thing comics, you can read them. Or another way to see the character in motion is to play Injustice 2. That has the character roster, the DC character roster, and it has Swamp Thing on it. And let me tell you, he's one of the big powered monsters. One other thing is the build-up of the mysterious and dark swamp from a director who's done the dark and mysterious stuff before. It's not only a great addition to get Len Wiseman on board, but it's a fantastic option as well. Netflix has announced that Henry Cavill will be taking on the role of Geralt in its The Witcher series, based off the best-selling fantasy series. Some people have said that he's a relatively inexperienced actor to be put in such a titular role, but he's Superman. That's quite a big step in the right direction. Plus, he's just previously done work on Mission Impossible, and from what I hear, he's done a very good job. I say give it a chance, and to be honest, he may surprise you. I have another trailer for you guys. It's Nutcracker and the Four Realms, the final trailer. Now, in a previous installment of my news report, I did review another trailer for it, and I stated that it kind of looked a bit too much like Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, and that Keira Knightley's voice in it was very jarring and not at all good. I'm happy to report that this trailer presents the Four Realms quite clearly, and it doesn't look like Alice in Wonderland anymore. But Keira Knightley still has that stupid voice, unfortunately. I think the movie is going to do well on its own. Just by an acting point of view, it looks very well acted, except for Keira Knightley. The sets, the costumes, the actors themselves, they're all top range, and I reckon this movie will be a great Disney movie for the winter. However, I draw the line at Keira Knightley's voice. I wonder who said that was a good thing to shoot, because it doesn't sound good at all. It sounds annoying and quite frankly patronising as well. honestly the only letdown I have with the movie so far. I'm happy to report that Die Hard 6 is getting a new title. The latest instalment to the Die Hard series has been under the title name Die Hard Year 1 for some time. However, the producer has come out in an interview with Empire magazine in which he announced that the film will now be called McClane. It will follow a 1979 storyline in which we see John McClane as a younger NYPD cop. Worry not if you think that Bruce Willis won't show up in the film, because Bonaventura, the producer, has stated that he bookends the film and that the younger John McClane has just as much screen time as Bruce Willis, so it's kind of like double the Die Hard. As you can see, I'm a very big Die Hard and Bruce Willis fan. I just hope they don't muck it up like they did last time. And from the sounds of it, I think they're going the right way with bringing us something new and refreshing with this character. Now I bring you the movies that are released this week. First up is The Predator. When the universe's most lethal hunters return to Earth, only a ragtag group of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled science teacher can save the world. Directed by Shane Black, who appeared in the first Predator movie, this Predator movie looks badass and bloody while also expanding the mythology of the Predator story. It stars a range of talent including Boyd Holbrook, Olivia Munn and Sterling K. Brown, and is released in theatres on the 13th of September. Next is Crazy Rich Asians. The contemporary romantic comedy based on the worldwide bestseller follows native New Yorker Rachel as she embarks on a journey to Singapore to meet her boyfriend's family. Now it sounds like a simplistic storyline to me, but I've heard nothing but praise from reviewers about this film. And with stars Constance Wu, Michelle Yeoh and Gemma Chan, this film proves to be an intriguing step into a world and culture full of rich characters, both literally and figuratively. Check it out on the 14th of September. Next is The King of Thieves. With an ensemble cast of true Hollywood greats, this crime caper based on the Hatton Garden robbery, in which a group of aging criminals plan a jewellery heist worth millions of pounds. Michael Caine, Michael Gambon, Jim Broadbent and Ray Winston star in the crime caper, and it is released on the 14th of September. Thank you for joining me for another roundup of the movie and TV news. I'm back doing the reviews this week, and the next one being 1987's The Predator, in which we see Arnie taking on the alien killer. Stay tuned for more from inside the movie world.